Mr. Kagwe, you know the reason why make I deliberately not go to the transitioning report? I deliberately did not go there. Because few days ago, I got the copy, a binded copy as a matter of fact, of the government's transition document. I go inside there, I look at the summary. I watch the summary, I watch the figures. And then I just go no more, I look at the last Auditor General report. Just the last Auditor General report, where for the first time since the establishment of the Auditor General office, they now audit the office of the First Lady. They now audit the office of the Vice President. They now audit the office of the President. Now, not knowing the expenditure incurred by these three offices, where I can always they tell the SLPP supporters, they say, you can support all you want to support, but don't support blindly. When you see wrong, call wrong out. When you see right, call right out. You're sitting there justifying the non-auditing of these three offices because now a political party they in power. If the other political party comes into power and does so, would you have a finger to point? And what would that finger be? So I sit down to myself, I watched the report then this morning, and I said to myself, even without the auditing of those three offices, excluding them, the wage bill, the expenditure, the debt to GDP ratio is so high, is so significantly high. So now, if I put this, listen, that report is a joke. The numbers in that report right now is like ancient history. We are talking about something, the history where they're going to teach we where we mama and papa themselves not been done born it. We know that this government has bloated, when I say over, not even bloated, over bloated the wage bill. Over bloated the wage bill. Donsu and Dancer, all they get pay inside this government. Alata self will be run. Just pass no more the hall. Self they get pay. So I intentionally move away from that report. I intentionally move away from the enormity of we burden. We financial burden where we dey inside right now. And waiting that they signify for the economy, waiting that they signify for, generations yet unborn. I just didn't want to go there because it hurts, it pains me too much to go there. When people are vuvuzeling and dancing and clapping in the name of politics and political symbols and affiliation, there are real issues. There are real issues. There are real significant problems. Like, listen, Salone in terms of development, in terms of economy, in terms of monetary discipline, we are doomed. It's going to take like a concerted effort, stringent, fiscal policy for even bring we back closer to the borderline. This government not care about fiscal discipline. When you're on the outside, it is easy to shout. But when you're in the inside, what you do, now they determine whether you were serious, crying wolf on the outside. Obviously, they don't demonstrate in all aspects, shape, and form that for them it was just about having a title. I'm not saying they're not the way they not do well or way they not try pan. I cannot say, because if I can't say do well right now, I know how I can cut me voice them, they run with her. Where they not try pan. But there are many things where you promise the people. For example, the economy will be fixed in 60 days. Give us 60 days. We have had time to sit. We have been in waiting. We don't get time for sit down. We don't observe. We don't do the analysis there. We don't do the calculations there. We don't set the machine going. Now, for make we vote for, we know make we can transform, make we can implement. 5 years later, yes, the world economy is not doing well. It's not doing that great. But the world economy, not to make Salone economy, they usai they so. Now, monetary, fiscal indiscipline, now make Salone economy, they usai they so right now. Greed, avariciousness, now it brings Salone economy to Usai Ideso right now. So let us not use the world atmosphere for give excuses to Usai Ideso right now, to Usai with Fenwe so right now. We could have done better. We had the potential to do better, but avariciousness and greed did not allow us to go there. If you could not fix the economy in 6 months like you promised, once you got in there, it was about, buffering your coffers, your personal coffers, walking around with suitcase traveling bag money of dollars and foreign currencies. Now na been depan. And now you're asking that same people for say, give it 3 months, we go fix the economy. If you didn't do it in 6, how will you do it in half? Mr. Cargo, continue.
Well, again, I don't look at the debt we didn't talk about, and I don't show now. Say really, and another thing where again me as I say, I know they do this for tell somebody because now they God given right for belong to whatever association, organization, or association they want. So, but me, they do all this for let people and go able for use informed decision, make informed decision where they want for go vote. So here is another aspect. Again, I still please fumble them. The phone line they open. Unaki call anytime and we'll be glad. Well, on ourselves Rob Mott by this discussion. So here is another component because again, then talk about the economy be the near collapse. And normally by economics, the key indicator what they look at. I use the word key because you don't get one single indicator we will tell you the whole picture. We're going to show you the whole picture. But GDP growth, it is show how the economy they expand. So again, for people that we not understand, within our GDP, our gross domestic product, this now the goods and services where they take place in the country. It not necessarily means say if not the government, even private sector, even that omolanke, as long as you will put monetary value to within the service where you they render, it be part of the GDP. So when you put all this together, it is show you the health of the country in better one, the economy of the country. So let us show una the GDP. The term where they be take over, by the way, the term where they be write that GTT report now be 3.7% for 2017. But I see that I'll adjust them now, revise them, I should say. So now 4.2, the term where they be take over with the last GDP report. So 4.2, when I say the economy be the near collapse. As of 2022, at 3.8. So waiting, we will interpret them. So meaning that the economy they grow slower than way una be taken. Again, una talk about the Russian situation and whatnot. Look at the difference. In 2020, the economy contracted by 2%, -2. The GDP. Look at under President Koma, Ebola. We all know say the impact of Ebola. It way more than the impact of Corona na Salone. We all know that. Where Ebola be there, the country completely economic activities was a standstill. People are not be able for they go. Corona time, people are be still they go Salone. So the economy now stands still at all. So for like owners say that's not justification. But look at the rebound after a decline or contraction, as what they call them, of over 20%, 20.6% into 2015. The following year, the economy grew by 6.1%. So again, to be fair enough, under President Koroma, the economy, if they do the right thing for stimulate the economy, some people like the administration say, oh, iron ore will they boom and all that. But guess what? If they put policies them in place where they discourage economic activities, we not probably see this type of growth. So not to say out of the blue the economy by itself just they grow without the proper policies. The thing where I really as Sierra Leonean upset about the way how President Kuruma handled the economy is even where the country be they grow, we still be they see say the country be they go into deficit. So if Salone they grow by over 20%, whose justification really President Koroma, former President Koroma, go tell people and say, we not for be see budget surplus. The revenue not for more than what you they spend. But what they do? They engage in reckless spending. So to me, that title saying as the best world president, now me actually they run themselves for think that. But let me look at the assessment during the two period there. So the economy rebound by 6.1% after huge decline. But look at 2021. After we see decline in 2020, it only grew by 4%, and now it only reduced 3.8%. So if you say at 4.2%, the economy be there near collapse, eh, boy, what's what for use? I don't know, Sister Matilda, you know the communication specialist. Tell me who's what for you? If 4.2% the economy they near collapse, so now the economy grow by 3.8%. So mathematically, we not say 4.2 is higher than 3.8%. So dear friend word for Wiba, waiting the economy they do right now. As you na the communication specialist.
Make a candle in the closing because if I say the word right now, the show they look.
All right. Well, okay. Now I want to go back, if you can permit me, to this thing saying that the Russian war and all that. Let me look at Salone inflation, and then we look at other countries there inside Africa inflation. Because remember, Salone not in no more than the war. Other countries themselves then are the same world, right? So we know they're in a different planet. The same planet where Salone they now the same planet the other country than they. So for let una make sense of whether or not una go accept that excuse day of saying that because of Russia or the global economy, I go show una the numbers. Me fumble them. Let us show now the number here. Okay. So in terms of Salone inflation versus other country them, and una be the judge whether or not una for buy this excuse where the country they give or where the government they give. Again, for me, it's all about the numbers here. I just want to make sure say I give una the numbers. Look at Salone. So when I see now, like I don't know, like how they say again, no disrespect, but this now like where we small, they say kite cut, where just they go, they fly. Look at Salone inflation, even before the Russian war, it be done they go up. So for say Russia, now Russia and all that, but let me give the administration the benefit of the doubt. Say because of now Russia. But let me compare Salone versus the other African countries them and see who size Salone rank. where then self na part of the world. So Salone, in terms of Africa, inflation Africa, now the third highest inflation as of April 2023. Now the recent number this, and from March it even not go up. So it look like say it not get any way for turn the now up. So as of April 2023, now 43%, me God, are selling people them. Zimbabwe, if Nadia be there, I go say the government don't try because the term under Mugabe, inflation be there over 2,000%. Yes. So for let them bring and come to 86%, that's kudos to them. Sudan, we all know say Sudan, look the war and all that way they go on now. So but Salone, so for all the other African countries, them Salone the third highest. Now the same planet Earth where we did. Look at African countries, them the lowest inflation. Chizelle, na small country, they even get negative, meaning that the price don't even go down. Now the same planet Earth. Burkina Faso, look, then get problem with the politics, where the coup and all that. Inflation day in less than 1%, 0.2%, it don't even reach 1%. So this now the list go down. So look at this and tell me, say why we not go say Salone for the among them country here. Instead, even Liberia, we neighbors them. Single digit inflation. The last time I checked, less than 10%, about 8 point something percent. Guinea inflation when a military, a way below, less than 15%. So whose justification was Salone government go say now because of Russia? Then country we get low inflation. They're not doing at the world, not a part of the world, then they. So my brothers and sisters, then una not allow politicians then for full una. Let appeal directly to my brothers and sisters them within the SLPP government, with the support SLPP as SLPP supporters. Una stop for the bread matter for this administration. The APC people then do under President Koma. Now una they do under President Bill. Not to them people then una they help. Now the country una they destroy. Because as a supporter, if you patriotic enough, you will ask question. You get, if I go to the inflation by region, the southern region, where una go say a stronghold of SLPP, then get the highest inflation rate in the country. Why una go not go pause and say, wait to? I don't think this not the right person for the for the country. We need change. Just like how una request change during APC. Again, I need to tell you now that for votes because I get 13 candidates them. That's not to advocate, I advocate for APC. But clearly, this administration not get a clue. Because for lack, they still they give excuses from where they come on. Excuse over excuse over excuse. And I just don't show now the numbers. So why SLP, the government of President Bio for the same because of Russia makes Salone they see inflation now 43%. So then country the way I show. Then they use Russia oil, then they use oil, then they use petrol, then they use all the other resources them at Salone, but yet they able keep inflation on the check. I go pause here because I get plenty of the statistics that I go show, where go show clearly. So the government not in the right direction. I use the word right direction. Who don't they vote for? That's up to now. But as economists, well, look at the numbers here. The government's not in the right direction. And I will show now, probably in closing, IMF, the assessment of the administration. And they even give projection as to whose size Salone will be in the next 5 years. When you look at them, in the next 5 years, they expect, say, the government will continue for spend more than the revenue way they get. So meaning that outside them go put la difference there. Now trust them for trust them. And when them trust them, then get what we call, then get for the manage the debt. So where that amount they increase, you know what it go mean? It go mean say that money where them for put per project them, because then get for manage then debts, then they pay high interest and all that, then now get for able for
Well, you see,
fulfill all the promise whether they promise so.
the thing about this, Mr. Cargo, is that what this government has heavily dependent, and this not to just this government alone, even the past government, and most governments, as a matter of fact, within the continent of Africa, which is a shame, really. But since na Salone they talk, but make us sit up and Salone, is the fact that they will write lofty excuses and show as to why at this particular term they cannot not function, double negation there, they cannot not function because if IMF not give them some disbursement. And then we see happen last week. Where we get all of them data there, we get all of them numbers there. The very IMF, what I tell you, with man no go come on in country can make you country for you.